We are the weirdos, mister.
All right, so hello. This react is really for me. I feel like nobody in my sphere cares about this, but I want to talk about it because I used to watch this creator. And the creator I'm talking about is the punk rock MBA. I don't know why I can't just say things.
I don't know, like I'm kind of an idiot.
So the thing is, I used to recommend the Punk Rock MBA as a good channel because I actually enjoyed it. Like I couldn't understand the hate for the guy. I had a good time with the content, especially because he made a point to talk about like the metal scene and how it is still heavily racist. And I found that fascinating. However, I noticed that he would do, like, I think over on his like podcast or whatever, he would do interviews with people. And some of these people were people where I was like, absolutely the fuck not. What the fuck? What are you doing? And I just realized he was like another one of those like weird centrist people who seems perfectly fine having any old body on his podcast. Because again, for me, if you stand for everything, you stand for nothing. And also those people who just kind of want to hear like opposing views, but it's that weird internet debate bro bullshit that I don't enjoy. Sir, Finn McKenty, the punk rock MBA, has decided to quit YouTube, I guess. He did a podcast with the Jesse Lee show. And so I thought I would check it out because of who I am as a person, because I'd been hearing rumblings about it. And I'm curious because I'm a curious kitten. Also, by the way, hi, I'm Audra. I'm the Messiah of nonsense. And I'm bringing you some nonsense that you probably don't care about, but I do. And once in a while, I'm going to talk about something that nobody cares about but me. So thank you to the 597 for watching this. Here we go. It says don't skip the intro, Dillweed, and I feel uncomfortable with being told what to do, but for once, I'm going to try not to let my demand avoidance win.
A few moments later.
I feel like I'm going to have to skip the intro.
Very first kind of music YouTubers I started watching, and like
Same.
it actually like kind of scared me away from even trying content creation initially because like you like just seemed like such a wealth of knowledge, like you knew so much about the topics you were talking about that I was like, dude, I can't make content, like I don't know like the encyclopedia history of all these bands, but
well,
you
neither
just
do I.
like,
it's just like literally look it up on Wikipedia. I don't know, like I've never listened to System of a Down in my life.
Well, yeah, and that's what you said. I heard you say that one time in an interview. Like, yeah, I just basically read your Wikipedia page and I'll show up some pictures and some context. Yeah.
And so this is not uncommon. I'm gonna say if anybody wants to slam somebody for like, oh, they look at a Wikipedia page or that's where they're getting their research from, it's not uncommon for a lot of YouTubers to do this. It's not like a slam. I don't think, me personally, I think some people feel like that's a slam dunk. I don't. I think that you can utilize all the sources available to you, and if one of those sources happens to be Wikipedia, that's fine. But your sources shouldn't be just like Illuminati was doing.
In fact, I believe a certain few of you took almost everything right off the internet.
Damn.
Acting as if she had more than Wikipedia, was doing all this research. But if you looked at her sources, they were the same sources that were in the Wikipedia search. So it was like, babes, you did just read Wikipedia.
Thought you was slick, didn't you?
You would think like you'd have to have like a vast like knowledge of these bands, like a deep appreciation to, but you said you kind of just looked at it more like almost like a product, basically.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, there's some where I know a lot, like if I'm friends with someone in the band or something like that, or there's somewhere whenever I saw them when they first started out 25 years ago or something like that. There's some of those where I definitely know a lot just from sort of personal experience, but the majority I would say I don't.
He looks bad. And I don't mean like he's not a good looking person. That's not what I'm saying. I'm like, he just looks dejected.
The reason I started YouTube was back in 2017. I think it was September of 2017. And I kind of found myself in a place in my career where I had done a lot of stuff that I was proud of, that I thought was pretty cool. For anybody who doesn't know, I guess most people know me from YouTube, but my actual sort of career has always been in product design and marketing. So I started doing that kind of, I guess the first like real kind of design job I got was in 2002, I think. Yeah, 2002. A guy named Chase Jarvis, who some people know, he's become sort of a really well-known photographer and started a company called Creative Live. Back then, he was just sort of a local photographer, and he had an ad agency. At the time, I sort of ran into him at the print shop I worked at, got a job there, did some stuff for like Nike, Nintendo, Red Bull. It was not, the work I did for them was not great, so I apologize to our clients, but I kind of got my foot in the door there. Then I worked at another agency where I did a lot of stuff for Procter and Gamble, like Tide, Febreze, Swiffer, Bounce, like a lot of big sort of fabric care brands, stuff like that.
You were in charge of putting the arsenic in the powder, right?
That's Johnson &
Oh,
Johnson.
Jesus.
Never did anything for J&J. So actually that's not true. We did some work for a brand called Ethicon that did medical devices that's owned by J&J, but none of the J&J CPG stuff. And then after that, I did design and marketing for Abercrombie and Fitch for a couple years. After that, I worked for Chase's startup, Creative Live, which was online.
Okay, so basically he was in marketing. Can we get to the point? That is a hell of a stop right there. He looks very like chagrined, like, oop.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be a social media following. It's just sort of like I just found myself like people just didn't care about me. You know, like I couldn't, when I applied for jobs, I kind of never really got anywhere with it. My professional network was not good. It just sort of, when my name came up, it just didn't really mean anything. And opportunity tends to go to people who are visible, not necessarily people who are like best at their job, right? You know, it's like if you're the first person that somebody thinks of for what you do, you're probably going to get more opportunities.
That's true. We see that all the time on YouTube. It does suck, right? You try to have a good name for yourself and all of the things, but somehow, some way, you don't have the name. I see this a lot in Reddit where somebody will just like talk mad shit about like, well, you only have 300 subscribers, da 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 da. And I've seen people who have a low subscriber count, but excellent content. And the issue is that they just don't have the name behind them. They haven't collabed with the right people. Like people don't know them yet. That's one of the reasons why like a lot of people end up quitting, you know, because again, I've said this before, you have to have 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers in a 365-day calendar year in order for you to get monetized. So it's a big hill to climb. And I think that when you're trying to climb that hill, even with all the best equipment and all the stuff, at the end of the day, if you don't have the name, if people don't know you, it doesn't matter. So you are sinking a lot of money into something and it doesn't necessarily pay off. And I've said this before, I think a lot of people think that YouTube, when you're monetized on YouTube, it's just like you start rolling in the money because again, with the way that YouTube works today and content creation works today, advice I gave 4 years ago where I was like, yeah, just start on your phone, see if you like it, da da da. I wouldn't be able to give that advice today because it's like you have to have almost the same quality as people who have, 5 million subscribers. You can't have a janky camera. You can't have a crappy background. You can't have really terrible lighting to where people can't see you. You can't have bad audio. Like these are all things that if you have them, you're definitely screwed. So you do have to put a lot of money into it. And if you ever are able to pay yourself back from all the equipment and stuff that you've spent the money on, it can be a long climb. Like I'm happy where I am most of the time because like honestly it does stress me out whenever I see any growth on my channel. I get a little like ugh. But also like you do want to grow. It's a weird sensation for people like me who are anxious and get bubble guts.
Someone who might be just as good at it or better than you, but nobody thinks of them. So I said, I need to change this. And so that's sort of what led me to do YouTube because I had done blogs. I did print zines back in the day. Then I had some blogs that were fairly successful. And I sort of saw that by then, the attention was on YouTube. And I was like, well, I guess I got to figure this out. So that's why I started it.
I mean, a resume is probably a different situation than just, giving somebody like a cover sheet with like, your job history. They probably want to see like actual media.
You are a freelancer or a founder or an entrepreneur or full-time employee. It's just a consultant. It doesn't matter. Like you want to be top of mind for whatever it is that you do. Like let's say, for example, I have a friend named, I actually don't know how to say his last name right. I think it's Freund, Rob Freund, who does, he's an attorney who focuses on law for influencers and social media. And he's always the first person I think of that because I see his content about it all the time. He does a very good job of making himself sort of top of mind. And if it
just a quick side note, he did an interview with Blair White and I never watched it. I actually, as soon as I saw that he did that, I was done. I don't do that. I am not going to play that weird little game. And again, like this is something that white dudes can do very regularly and just like interview problematic people. I'm of the mind, especially today, like I don't have to hear the opinions of people who don't care about me as a human being. This isn't a debate. I'm not going to try to prove to you why I should exist and why my humanity is important. Period. So if you can sit down with these kinds of people, I have zero respect for you. And you're just gonna be like, I like to talk to people that, it's gonna be problematic and like and like laugh like, okay, I guess. But you have a whole lot of people who didn't love that and didn't like her because of what she stands for and how she behaves. You know, he does experience a lot of hate. Like, people just don't like him because he seems kind of smug, I guess, to people. But I thought it was, I thought it was fun. I enjoyed the old content. So I don't want people to think that, like, if you're a Finn McKenty stan or hater, I'm not here to like hate the guy. I just recognized what kind of person he was. And I don't come at me with the random allegations of the grooming and all of that. I don't know about that. I don't know. And I'm not going to dive into that. That's none of my business. I don't want to know. They're married. They're married.
If anybody ever asks me about that stuff, I always send them to him because he's the first person who comes to mind. There might be someone out there that's better than him. I wouldn't know because
this guy's
I literally don't know they exist. Yeah, now I love Rob and I'm sure he's very good at what he does. He's helped me in a lot of stuff, but so I don't mean to diminish, you know, his work. But point being is, like,
Rob is shit.
you want to be the person that.
Also, I DM'd him like twice. One time somebody just seemed really depressed and said something pretty alarming in his comments. I was like, hey, bruh, do you see this? I think my final straw also, aside from the Blair White situation, was how he talked about autism. And I was like, no, don't do that.
That is always top of mind for whatever it is you do. And I don't think that's not limited to creative fields. Like whether you're, I mean, think about if you're like, I don't know, if you're an auto mechanic, right?
Right.
It, like literally, or you have a landscaping company, you want to be the first, like, hey, my gutters need to get cleaned. Who do I call? Well, it's probably if someone has done a very good job of like saturating whatever local radio, you know, with their jingle, you're like, oh, that fucking stupid jingle that I've heard 9 million times. I guess I'll call them.
Dude, 100%. Like my entire house flooded like last summer. Huge expense. Lost a lot.
Okay, can we get to
Horizon music videos and stuff like that?
Well, I didn't start with that. So I think they're all private now, probably, or deleted. I don't know.
Okay.
But for the first maybe 6 or 9 months or something, I did content about marketing because that's my actual career. And that's sort of what I wanted to be known for. But nobody cared, to make a long story short. I think if I was to start over, like if I know how I could make that channel work now, but you know, at that time, I didn't know how to make that kind of content work. Yeah. And I had written about music a lot before for like Metal Injection and Metal Sucks and stuff like that. So like I sort of knew how to do that. And I was like, well, I sort of observed that there was this I don't know, like nobody made videos about Bring Me Horizon. I was like, this band is very, very popular. People like them a lot, but nobody has made a video about, like, there was just nobody making videos about the type of music that I have. And even now there still aren't that many people.
Yeah.
So I was like, really? Nobody's made a video about Bring Me the Horizon or Fall Out Boy or Green Day or No Doubt? Like, that's weird.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like you said, like you filled a void that like was there, like,
and yeah, that's why I started watching him. Again, this was like the first music channel that I had really started paying attention to, and those are the kind of bands that I'm interested in. I'm also a metalhead. Like, you know, I have eclectic tastes. I listen to all kinds of things. Yeah, I think that happens to a lot of people with their channel. Like, my channel has gone through several evolutions. One of them, I was trying to do like subscription boxes, but baby, I was broke and I could not continue to like keep buying those subscription boxes and doing content with them without any money coming in on it.
Playing with my money is like playing with my emotions.
And so I tried to start moving away from I have to buy shit content because I was like, I can't really do that and it's not helping me out. And it really wasn't something that I was like super interested in at some point. Like, I like getting goodies, but like I like to know the goodies that I'm getting. I bet you want my goodies.
Yeah, and that kind of goes back to being like the go-to person for that thing. Like where when I was searching for videos on, I don't know, like mall emo bands from the 2000s or whatever it is, like your videos were the ones that were popping up. And there weren't, especially back then, there weren't very many people making any kind of content around that. So it's like, if I wanted to vegetate on 15 to 20 minutes of what turned out to be Wikipedia knowledge, then you were my go-to dude.
Yeah, there's a few, like, you know, Fall Out Boy would be an example of a band where I have, I think, something different, you know, because I remember when Pete and Andy and, you know, we were sort of about the same age, and I remember them from like the hardcore scene back in the day. And so I sort of have a little bit of a different perspective on them than other people might. So that would be an example of, I think, of one of my better videos. But yeah, a lot of them just like, I literally just read Wikipedia.
This is my problem with this right now. He's like, I just read Wikipedia. I don't know how to explain that just seems like he never gave a shit about the content. Because here's what I'm talking about. The juxtaposition between like this, and let me take you backwards. If you look at his videos here.
We lost the fame. We were pushed aside suddenly. And you had to live with that.
What's up, everybody? I'm Finn McKenty. This is the Punk Rock MBA, and let me start by asking you what all these artists have in common. Fountains of Wayne, Trapped. Being a one-hit wonder is better than a zero-hit wonder, right? Because without Headstrong, really they'd probably be just another local band. Or as another example of that is Afro Man and his one hit, Because I Got High.
And I know why, man.
I just feel like he had more energy. that one isn't even the best example because you'd have to kind of move back even further. But like, he used to have some energy, and I just feel like his energy here is down. Like, he's just very much like, anyways, I hate this shit.
Well, maybe it'd be better if I just kill myself, huh?
Because there was a video I was going to react to a long time ago of his, this video, an honest channel update. He gets like real frustrated, and I never did because I didn't have the time, I think, and I just wasn't on my React grind. I wasn't grinding. I wasn't rising and grinding. You know, I wasn't getting an extra 3 hours out of my day by refusing to sleep more than 5 minutes increments every hour. He started to get really frustrated that he couldn't make what he wanted to make. And apparently it feels like because he built something he didn't actually want to build based on what we're hearing here.
I just felt like unbiased, but then like you would throw in some jokes and like your opinions on stuff, and it was like fun.
I stopped doing that though because it made people angry.
I noticed that, yeah, because like the comments got just so like people just get so butthurt about your. And again, I could tell when you were joking. I don't think I have like a super high intellect or anything like that, but I could like pick up on context clues. You know, smiling is usually a good one.
And I will say that he would get a lot of people, and if you go to Reddit, there are people who hate him viciously. I think part of the problem is that the name of his channel is Punk Rock MBA, which automatically makes the like real angry music nerds angrier. They're just like significantly angrier that like he would dare to call anything punk rock. I feel like they started getting deep into the semantics of the situation, and he couldn't even make a joke or have an opinion. It was weird. And I feel like this is why I'm rarely into music spaces, because people are really weird. Like, you say a bad word about Beyonce, the Bayhive comes. You say a bad word about Taylor Swift, and this like they just come after you. These are both billionaire capitalists. Calm down. They don't know you exist. Maybe if he didn't name the channel that may have helped. It does suck for him because I think it just really started to hurt his feelings. He's a sensitive soul, and I'm not saying that to be funny or mean. I'm saying that because like he does seem like he's very sensitive, and it really started to bother him that how much people hated him.
Gets so upset about you just casually a one-off comment about like, you know, a band that they love, and you're not even saying they suck. You're just like, yeah, well, that could have been better, like whatever it was, you know. Well,
whatever, you know.
Yeah.
I'm just here to give people what they want.
Right.
If they don't want my jokes, then I don't give them my jokes.
See what I mean? Whatever. I'm just here to give the people what they want. This is like so you know when you are in an argument with somebody and they get frustrated, and instead of saying like, okay, let's just chill and we'll talk in a second, they want to end the argument, so they just start going, no, you're right, it's fine, you're right, I'm sorry, I'm wrong. That's what this is giving me. I think that he, in my opinion, I just feel like he took the fact that like some people didn't like him. He paid attention to the negativity way more than he paid attention to the positivity. And that shit's gonna eat you up every time. Like you cannot like be a content creator and create that way. Like I don't think, that's why I don't like a lot of the advice for creating a successful YouTube channel. Like, I guess if you want a successful YouTube channel that you don't like, fine, follow these people's advice. But for me, I had to just do what made me happy. And what made me happy was being able to make the content I want to make and enjoy making it and make it the way I want to make it. I don't want to do whatever the algorithm is telling me to do, because I've already played that game. By the way, I've already played that game. It made me miserable, and I was upset because if those videos didn't perform, it like personally offended you and affected you, and it made you feel bad because you're doing all the right things. You're doing all the things right, and somehow it's still not working out. As opposed to like some of the videos I just did for the hell of it, and those videos did really well. I'm upset because I'm like, I wish I'd spent more time on this video because I had more things to say, but I didn't say all the things. I'm looking at you, charmed video. God bless. I wish I had spent more time on that video. It's now got like almost 8K views. It was like a random video I made. I didn't spend enough time on it, and it sincerely hurts my feelings to this day that I didn't spend enough time on it to really get into the depths of it. Anyways.
You haven't posted anything in, I guess in September was the last video you posted on the, so are you done with YouTube, or are you done making those kind of videos anyway?
I don't have any plans to do anything on YouTube. I've sort of considered maybe doing like a channel sort of about entrepreneurship, maybe. Mm-hmm. But I don't know, because I have a feeling that a lot of people who know me for the music stuff would show up and be idiots, you know, and people on Reddit and Twitter would probably want to tear me down. So probably I won't, but who knows? I'm mostly just active on LinkedIn.
I'm so sorry. I'm going to need you to stop being a little bitch. I know that's me, but I'm going to need you to stop being a little bitch. You've come on here. You're like, oh, you're so defeated. Why did you?
What was the reason?
Why did you even accept this invite?
What was the reason?
I want to know, like, why would you accept this invite and you're like completely defeated?
What was the reason?
He does sound like he resents his audience. Because let me just tell you, here's the thing. This is exactly why I say, he has 611K subscribers. That's literally nothing to scoff at. Instead of him focusing on the people in the comments who are like, as someone who's been doing this for over 10 years and definitely gotten the same kind of comments, and try and remember to give yourself a pat on the back, the positive people. These people who are like, hey, I really like this. You're doing a great job, blah, 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 blah. Like, you're doing fantastic. I'm very new. I like you. I enjoy this stuff. He chose to not focus on any of that. He has made a choice. He made a conscious choice, and his choice was, I'm going to pick the people who hate me. I'm going to pick the people who hate me over the 611K people that enjoy me. So the one person or the 13 people who were like, I don't get your joke and I don't like it, that's who you catered to. And that's what you let make you like this. Okay. They said a woman couldn't be president because we're too sensitive, but like, okay.
Yeah. Is that why you stopped making videos, just because of all the negativity?
No, it's because I don't really have any interest in music. So I was just doing it for the money, and I hit my financial goals. And so there's really just no reason for me. Like, I don't have to keep doing it. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to spend our time on this earth is limited. Like, don't spend it.
He's not, okay.
Doing shit you don't have to do if you don't want to,
I think that this is the part that's pissed a lot of people off because he didn't have passion for it. I think it's very funny that there are a lot of people, and a lot of these people who are being very critical of him having said he wasn't really interested in music. He did it for the money. The people who are being critical of that are the same people who will be in Reddit talking about the slop content that they make for the money. The Venn diagram is a circle. And like, these people do that. There are people who do that. It is a job. I think that this need that people have for every single person who does whatever niche that they do on YouTube to have a passion for it, a couple of people here and there have made a comment once in a while that's like, I can't believe you don't have more subscribers. And I'm like, I can. I am inconsistent. I do whatever I want. I don't stick to a niche. I just do the things that bring me joy. Because realistically speaking, for me, if this somehow on some alternate universe that doesn't exist in my Delulu land blows up to where it becomes my full-time job, I would want it to stay the way I'm doing it now. Whatever the fuck I want to. I can't be passionate about something that I'm doing for money. And I think a lot of people can't be passionate about the things that they have to do for money. Like, you may have a passion for something, but the second it becomes like your job, once that happens, it stops being as fun. It stops being as enjoyable. So for me, I'm just like, in order for this to be fun for me, I have to be able to do whatever I want, including my little crab hunts. Like, I need to be able to do whatever makes me joy. So I was like, if this had to become a job for whatever reason, I would at least want it to be where I'm not feeling like I have to put up a video every third day and it has to be this and I have to do that. And like, I can't do that. I think he got himself into a little hole. I'm sorry. My period ended. I can't help it. You should be doing what brings you joy. And he's not. So he made the money off of it. And now he's out and people are upset about it. A lot of y'all are the same people. Like, you're mad at him for saying out loud what many of you are already doing. This isn't me defending him because I literally just said a little bit ago, stop being a little bitch. But like, what do you mean? Loads of y'all say this shit. There's nothing wrong with doing it for the money. So which is it? Which is it, bitch?
I'm going now. Who's coming with me?
It's like, I made enough money from this. I don't have to keep making videos about System of a Down, so I'm going to stop.
Man, so you really didn't enjoy it at all? There's just like no part of you that was like, oh, I'm excited to talk about this band today or anything like that. It was always just completely transactional for you?
Yeah, I don't have any interest in music.
It's almost better to have a variety channel so you don't lock yourself in 100%. And like, my ADHD could never allow me to like just do one thing. If I do anything makeup related, get ready with me, all that. I do all of that on my Patreon and whatnot because I know people there want to see it and we can talk back and forth about makeup. I cannot wait until like the new year starts where I can actually get back to being able to do some lives and shit. I just have not been able to do them because it's peak and I work. I work a lot.
The money is nice, but you know, I made enough from it that I'm good.
You're probably still getting some like residual revenue though, right?
Yes.
Those videos are still getting views every day.
Yeah, it's still
in,
a few grand a month, so
yeah,
you know, that helps. That'll dry up eventually, but I'll take it.
So are you super excited that you didn't have to talk about the new Linkin Park album and the Emily Armstrong controversy?
Very. I see this stuff now. Like, of course, like for like most of the year, there was like nothing happening, and it was like really hard for me to like find stuff to talk about on Twitch. And now, like after I quit, there's all this drama, so. But I'm like, man, I'm so glad. Like, I don't give a fucking shit. Like, Jesus, like the drama, whatever, like about Alien Ant Farm and CKY. I'm like, bro, it is 2024.
Yeah.
This is legitimately a conversation we're having. Like, I can't. Like, you want me to care about the shit from bands that peaked 2 goddamn decades ago? Like, Linkin Park was fucking washed up in 2004.
First of all, yes, okay. People like their music and they like their bands, and we like their lore. I have lore. Everybody has lore. Like, if you've been around long enough, there's so much Audra lore. There's Vinny. I don't mind the lore. Like, there's people currently still talking about like the Fall Out Boy, Killers, Panic at the Disco situations, and like why they didn't like each other. And I eat it up every time, bitch. I'm gonna eat it up. It's the same way that I think that it's hilarious when people get pissed off that anybody's still talking about the Dramageddons. Bitch, we're eating it up. Stop it. Be like, ugh, this is like so late. Really? Then why is it getting views? Okay, we're eating it up. And y'all conveniently forget that maybe you're over it. Maybe you have had enough. Maybe you know everything. But there are people, surprise, surprise, who are younger than you, who didn't know all of this shit, who didn't live through it, like literally remember where they were when Bye Sister dropped, bitch. Those people, they don't know that. That's how history works. So I think some of y'all need to get off of your little high horses of like, oh, this is old, and like da 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 da. Like, bitch, let me enjoy myself. If you don't care, you don't have to watch it. I do. I'm gonna keep watching it. I will eat up every single one of them videos because I enjoy it, because I think it's fun. I love thinking about the day that I was in my car on Texas 114, Bye Sister drops, and I am listening to it in my old Kia Sorento before I got wrecked. And I am in my car. I even believe I did an IG story at the time. I was in traffic. Don't come. You were doing an IG story while you were driving, bitch. I was sitting on Texas 114 in like traffic, and I'm yelling, "Get him, Tati! Yes, Tati, go, girl!" I remember that. Okay, thank you. I remember that. I'm sorry, cause I remember everything. Like, listen, I was there. So again, we enjoy the lore. It's very, very obvious that he is apathetic. He's upset. He's angry because he's a fucking idiot who, I'm sorry, that's not nice. Let me figure out, I'm finding it. He is angry because he allowed the negativity to overtake any joy that he had in this. I really don't believe him. I'm going to say this. I'm going to go out on a little limb. I don't believe him that he doesn't give a shit about music, and that it just, I think that that's the thing that he's saying to feel good about the whole thing, right? Like when somebody breaks up with you, and you're like, I didn't like you anyways.
Bitch, please. You want me to talk about him now?
It is crazy when you do see like news headlines that make a big deal about a band doing something, and like I'm not speaking of Linkin Park in this part, but it's like it will be like a band does something crazy and it's a news headline everyone's talking about for like weeks or whatever. But then you look at their tour dates and that band is playing like a 500 cap room, right? To like 30. It's like so this band that everyone's talking about isn't actually drawing any like people. It's just
Okay, let's calm down, because first of all, I would like to say that some of these smaller tours make a lot of sense for a lot of these bands. And here's what I mean by that. A lot of times they're not having to deal with the monsters that are Ticketmaster, so they're able to keep the price of the tickets down. Did you ever think about that? They're also able to sell their merch, and like all of the proceeds and shit like that is actually going to them, so they can be a band that is making money off of their shit. I say this as somebody who understands that like the entertainment industry is vast and wide, and we have this propensity to think that if you're not doing stadium tours that you're not successful. If you're not an actor in a blockbuster movie, like you're not successful. But there are plenty of actors who are successful who are in a lot of stuff, but they're just not like the main character and everything. They're that one guy that's in that one thing, that one lady that was in that one movie that one time. Remember when you saw her in that one show? Yeah, regularly working. a lot of bands have started to figure out that like when you're on these huge ass tours, you're also having to deal with scheduling issues. There's just so many things, logistics and all this shit. Whereas if it's like literally just like I saw Buck Cherry and I believe I saw Vanilla Ice. Maybe I didn't, but I can't remember because my memory sometimes about bands I saw is sketchy at best because at the time I was with my ex-husband and I really just hated going out with him because it was kind of nightmarish. We're gonna move past that. The point is I saw Buck Cherry at a small bar in Mansfield, Texas. I need you to look up the population of Mansfield, Texas. Okay? It's a town of 80,000 people. And I just need you to know that is a small town. Not even being funny. My block in NYC is bigger than Mansfield, Texas. I'm just saying. And like really, Vanilla Ice plays there almost every New Year. I think it's weird when people talk shit about bands who are playing small venues because I personally understand why you would do that, especially when you're starting to realize that like if you can do this on your own without having to give in to all the corporate monsters, then do it. Anyways, I just think that the definition of success is weird because these people really, I don't know, maybe I'm the asshole.
No. It's just something for people to talk about. It's just conversation fodder. It's news, you know?
It's just
everyone
because
needs to
these like smooth-brained, low-vibration people just want some negativity to fucking...
Yeah.
And I'm gonna touch your hand when I say this.
Of all people, to call anyone smooth-brained.
When I said that you're not special, I meant that.
Not him using low vibrational. This is rank. I don't like it. And this is my other problem with Finn is like, I kind of liked him better before he started showing who he was. Bro, that's why he's miserable. He can't be him because him sucks. Like he actually does suck as a person.
Blurt out their dumb fucking opinions about.
So you haven't even listened to Linkin Park then, I'm guessing, the new album?
I mean, I heard it. I don't have an opinion. Like, I don't
care.
Like,
I don't give a fuck about anything.
It's kind of a void. It's like dominating the music world at the moment.
I mean, I don't pay attention. Like, it's like if somebody showed you a bag. Do you play golf?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay. Do you play basketball?
No. I enjoy it. But,
it's like if someone, handed you some new basketball that just came out. And like, hey, what do you think of this basketball? You'd be like,
yeah.
I guess it's
cool.
round.
I don't feel like it's the same. Because I feel like here's the thing that's also bothering me. Like everybody has an opinion of some form because we all listen to music in some way, shape, or form. This is why I think he's being a disingenuous asshole because like we all have an opinion, whatever it is. I hate it. Stop.
Shit. Not a lot of people. A couple people give me shit in comment sections about like posting so much about Linkin Park, and it's like it's the biggest fucking band in the world right now. Like it's the band that everyone's talking about. Like of course I'm gonna post about it. And then like one dude was like, I wish you talked about like more underground bands. It's like, well, I do post about newer bands, but whenever I do post about the newer bands, no one gives a shit. No one.
There's only two options. If you want to have any sort of an audience in this space, there's basically two options. Number one is to talk about millennial nostalgia music, anything that was popular on MTV from say 1999 to 2007 or so. The other option is talking about sexual assault. Those are really the only two ways you can get views.
What the fuck? Okay. I was right. I did like Finn McKenty better before I knew Finn McKenty. Oh God. I don't know that I can keep listening to him be fucking pissed off.
Let the ball removal be good. Let the ball removal be good.
Look at great minds. That's gotta be like a part of the Audra lore for my videos moving forward, is that at some point you're gonna see Nathan Explosion be like, let the ball removal begin.
So tonight, we support taking away balls.
Like Finn McKenty should go fuck himself. And I came into this wanting to like be a little bit more neutral, but he should just go fuck himself. I know that he has a wife that he has relations with because he has a child with her, but he is giving off that like weird incel, nobody wants to fuck me energy. I try to fuck the bitches, but the bitches don't fuck me. Fuck me. Fuck me. I try to fuck the bitches, but the bitches won't fuck me. They duck me. It sucks to me. He's giving off this like really weird energy, this negative, I get no ass, I can't touch a titty energy, and I hate it. So we're gonna go over here into monetization strategies because like it's actually starting to piss me off. It's like big incel, and you can still have incel energy and not be an incel, and he's got it in spades. just unfuckable on like every level. I hate it. He's just whining and moaning and complaining. It's pissing me off. Let's see if it changes my mind here.
Yeah, and like going back to what we were talking about too with like the bands that like, you know, are big in the news but not in real life. It's like the same thing on social media. Like I have so many like artists I know who like have millions of followers on TikTok, but then like they can't sell out, you know, the venue they're playing on tour. And like they'll tell me, like I've had this conversation before, like the venue owners like mad at them. They're like, I thought you were gonna move tickets. Like you have all these followers. I thought you were gonna move. I thought there's gonna be thousands of people here. It's like it doesn't work that way, man.
Listen, I know I'm here with my boneless braids, but I've just gotta explain. I feel like neither one of these people know how shit works.
Don't listen to them, man.
I'm very upset. This is exactly what I'm talking about when I'm like doing shit for the views just ends up destroying your spirit. Is that really what my arm looks like? Okay, well, I'm gonna put that down. Oh my God. Let's go more into the dark descent of Finn McKenty and Nobody Likes Me.
Man, it's way easier to hit that follow button than it is to like get in your car and drive and pay $12 and stay in line.
Especially like if you're, you know, you think about also, I remember seeing this a lot with MySpace. You know, there was a lot of these MySpace bands that were at the time getting millions of plays, which back then was a lot. And then I would go see them and there'd be like 75 people there. I'm like, this is weird. But then I thought about it. And it's like, well, especially back then, most of the people following them on MySpace were like kids, you know, they're like ninth graders.
But also, the other thing that I was trying to get my brain to think about is that concerts are fucking expensive now. A lot of shows are at bars, and they normally make you have like a 2-drink minimum if you're coming for the show because they're fucking assholes. And a lot of these venues, too, are not necessarily in easy to find places. Everybody doesn't have a car. Concerts are fucking expensive. I literally don't go to shows because I'm not gonna go and watch it on a screen. I'm not gonna go get nosebleeds and watch on a screen. If that's the case, I will just wait for Amazon Prime or whoever to fucking do their like concert and I will just watch it that way because it's the same thing to me. To my brain, there's no fucking difference. I can literally watch your concert like that. Because if I'm not gonna be in like row 6-ish, if I'm not gonna be in that first little area where I can like see you with my eyes, I don't have to watch you on a screen. I can like see you. Then I'm not going.
You know, a ninth grader can't go see a show, you know, at 9 p.m. on a Wednesday in the city.
Correct.
Right.
Unless they have parents. Like
no.
Yeah, I was, I was unfortunately one of those.
Yeah.
But
They're not terrible parents.
You know, there's a small number of them who can do that, but it's like you might be their biggest fan. Yeah, you might be their biggest fan, but it's like your parents aren't going to give you a ride to the venue at 9 p.m. on a Wednesday, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, it's not real. It's not tangible.
Well, it's not, I mean, I know in the rock world, like literally the fucking only thing they care about is live events, like live ticket sales. That is the only thing rock people care about.
That's not true.
Like nothing, everything else is bullshit to them other than live ticket sales, which I think is incredibly fucking stupid. But
I feel like that's not true. I feel like you just made that up.
What do you think they should be focusing on?
Well, I mean, for me, I sure wouldn't want my business to depend on having to travel 200 days a year.
Right.
Because that's not sustainable. That's a good way to fucking wreck your mental and physical health.
Yeah, that's why they play at these smaller venues, you dumb shits. Because if you play at the smaller venues, a lot of them might pay you more money, like not a ton, but you'll get like a good chunk of money. It goes to you and the band members, not to fucking Ticketmaster. And you don't have to just be on tour all the time. You can spend time with your family. Don't kiss Finn's ass. I need you to back up. You don't have to believe the shit he's saying.
I mean, you can't do that. I mean, even people like, say, corporate execs that travel that much a year, like it's fucking, and they're doing it, you know, they're flying, they're getting hotels and stuff. It still fucking destroys you.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's not sustainable.
No, the CEOs are fucking hookers that they shouldn't be fucking. They're probably underage. Let's be real. And they're glad to be away from their families. If they really cared, they're like the boss. They could make it be how they want it to be.
Yeah, like if you can't make money, if you're getting millions of eyeballs on your shit and you can't turn that into money, like you suck. You know, like if the only way you can think of to monetize that is to fucking go get people to show up to a venue, like that's just, you suck. Like how could you like how could you not do that?
Should be monetizing through like products and stuff like that.
I don't care. Whatever. They can do whatever the fuck they want. I don't care. I'm not going to tell musicians are a lost cause. Like they can do whatever the fuck they want.
Oh God, this is like the most rank energy. I cannot stand. God damn, dude. He's giving me that energy of like when you're in a doctor's office in the waiting room and it's like you and one other person and you're sitting on like opposite ends of the room and it becomes obvious that that person has farted. and it's traveling at you, you know, because like you get like a small whiff of it and you're like, what the fuck? And you look up as soon as like a little hint of it gets into your nostril. You look up because you're like, I didn't do that. And it's just the two of us here. And like they're very studiously staring at their phone because they weren't expecting it to travel that far, first of all. Like they knew when they let it slip and they're like, oh shit, this stinks. And now it's coming. He's so bitter and cynical right now. Don't do interviews. Go take care of your baby. See, again, I feel like this is proving my point about white men and families. They're living the dream. Oh, Jesus.
Sure. But let's put it this way. I know lots of people on LinkedIn with less than 10,000 followers that are making way more money than anybody in any band.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
no, you don't. You mean grifters like yourself? Because that's really what you're saying at this point. You're a grifter. Your LinkedIn fans are grifters. Yeah, I think he should have not done a podcast and interview. Go to therapy. And I feel like he is in therapy. It's not helping.
You know, the price of these concert tickets are so crazy high for some of these artists too. And with like the Live Nation, you know, dynamic pricing model, whatever, you know. And like a lot of that is a direct result of the fact that that's the only way anybody can make any money off of music anymore, or at least, you know, in the rock world and stuff.
It's supply and demand. The reason why they're charging.
It's not just the rock world, it's the music world in general. It's one of the reasons why everybody fucking hates streaming so much. The thing is, the artists wouldn't hate it if they got paid properly, but they don't get paid properly. And that's why they hate it. And like merch and all that shiz are like how they make money. Again, why I brought it down to people doing smaller venues. You do these smaller venues, you actually get the money, you see the money, you and your bandmates see the cash. You can also have more power to negotiate what it is that you're going to get paid.
$500 to see a fucking band that was washed up 20 years ago is because people will pay it.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't like it, stop paying it. I mean, it's like, why in the fuck would My Chemical Romance not charge you $400 knowing that there's a bunch of rich millennials or maybe millennials that can't afford it, but with credit cards,
right?
Knowing that there's a bunch of 35-year-olds that will pay it, why the fuck wouldn't they charge that?
I don't necessarily always feel like they're the ones that are trying to charge that. That's the problem with Live Nation. Jesus. I guess you really did do it for the money because you didn't do any fucking research, but like that's the problem. The artists don't get to have nearly as much control as they would like to have. Didn't Eddie Vedder famously get into it with like Ticketmaster back in the day? That's now, I guess it's now Live Nation. I don't know, or they're one and the same. I have no fucking clue. If you want to see a band live, it's very difficult. We don't have options. That's the problem. We don't have options. They monopolize the whole thing. And like, then they're scalpers. So this is, again, back to the smaller venues, why we like them. Because you can go to whatever that like small skeevy bar website is and buy the tickets and you can go see them. Whereas these bigger artists, go see them at this arena, which I don't enjoy, actually. I don't really, like, I saw Avenged Sevenfold before I realized that M Shadows is just fucking dumb. Anyways, I'm gonna move past that. I don't like it. I thought he was hot. And then he started speaking and I was like, oh, don't let your heroes speak. I also saw Deftones. That was also the first time I saw Ghost, who at the time was Ghost BC. Great show. But like, I don't like being in those kinds of venues. It starts feeling very frustrating. You bought the tickets. Now you have to pay to park and you have to try to remember where you parked in this giant fucking arena. Going to the bathroom is a nightmare. Trying to get like a snack or a drink. It becomes like a whole event, like, and it just becomes too much for me. I think that is the most that honestly, I'm going to be done with this because he's just this like bitter ass bitch. I know that there's probably more information. I just feel like Finn, and I had been noticing this for a while. I just think that if you're going to be a bitter ass bitch every single time, and I don't like to be a person who's like negative or mean to me, but seriously, if you're going to be a little bitter bitch, if people don't like you, who cares? There's multiple videos that he has where he has tons of people who like the shit he puts out. The fact that you insisted very regularly on trying to like pivot and change because a few people didn't like it tells me everything I need to know about it. Like, you're weak-willed. And I know that that's not a nice thing to say about anybody, but I don't care. You're weak-willed. There are people who've said mean shit on some of my channels, videos and whatnot. I just hide them and I move the fuck on. I don't care. You're not going to take up space in my life like that. So in conclusion, don't ever come back to YouTube. Just keep that bitter bitch attitude to yourself. I'm just going to stop watching music YouTube in general, except for Honest. That's it. If you want to watch music YouTube, watch Honest. That's it. This has been Audra. And for YouTube, until next time, I am so pretty and so are you.
I think your lisp is cute. Don't listen to them, man. Say 7 sizzling sausages sizzling in a saucepan. You got this. I believe in you. Don't flop this. The way you done this.